And we are going to be noticing those temperatures falling out of the 80s, eventually down into the 70s, low 70s as we get closer to about 6, 8 o'clock this evening, and eventually by about 10 o'clock we'll be into the upper 60s. Much more on that weekend forecast coming up in just a few minutes, and if we can see the 80s, stick around. Will, back to you.
All right, thanks for that, Anthony. The city of Augusta is working to do a point-in-time count, which counts the number of people experiencing homelessness in the area. This will give the city an idea of how many resources and programs will be needed to help those without a home. Now, our Kennedy Harris is live downtown where the first zone was counted just last night. Kennedy.
Yeah, I tagged along with the downtown team for the overnight count, and this is one of the first places we stopped. Take a look. It's an abandoned building here on Ellis Street. Inside, you can see several clothing and personal items left behind. It's pretty clear this blighted property was serving as a shelter for several homeless people, but this wasn't our only stop. The point-in-time count is 10 days total. It started last week. Last night was the largest overnight count. Teams hit the streets all over the county from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. trying to survey the number of unsheltered people. The count takes place on an annual basis, and the data gives reports to the federal government. In 2021, because of COVID, they did not get to count. The last count from January of 2020 surveyed about 480 people living on Augusta streets. Now remember, that was before the pandemic, before the country shut down, before the housing crisis, and before this eviction crisis. So this year's number is expected to be much greater than ever before.
This is going to be significant to us because we as a community have to start planning how we're going to serve these people and just not wait while this problem gets larger and larger and larger.
And not only will this give the city an idea of how many people are living on Augusta streets, but it could help them get more money to fix the problem. I'm working on that story, and I'll give you a walkthrough of our journey last night, tonight on News 12 at 6 o'clock.
All right, thanks for that, Kennedy. Just into the newsroom, the Richmond County Sheriff's Office says deputies have captured a 26-year-old wanted for aggravated assault. Sharon Harris was wanted in connection to a shooting that happened last week. Right now, he is being held in Richmond County Jail. Well, first at 4, after a recent almost kidnapping in Waynesboro, the GBI is getting involved in the case. It all happened here at the El Cheapo gas station. A father was being arrested while officers were putting him in handcuffs. A stranger took his daughter out of his truck. Since then, the family has filed a complaint against the police department. One of the officers is on suspension, the other is not. It's been 2 years since Ahmaud Arbery was shot and killed in Brunswick. Today, family and friends can remember him by going to a dedicated park. Yesterday was the second-year anniversary since he was killed. A prayer vigil was also held in the Satilla Shores area where he was shot. Earlier this week, the 3 men convicted who murdered him were found guilty of federal hate crime charges. Arbery's family spoke about how they're keeping his memory alive.
That means a lot. Every time you pass through this park, you'll think about how you know this father, and you'll think about him. I just want to say, Ahmaud, we got justice for you, and rest in peace.
Earlier this month, lawmakers passed a resolution that makes February 23rd Ahmaud Arbery Day. After a local teacher was recently killed, her former students are writing letters to her family. 50-year-old Dana Foster was a teacher at Byrd Elementary. She was killed this past week in her home in Graniteville. The school is still working on a future student and staff donation in honor of Mrs. Foster's memory. Happening tonight, a conversation about breaking racial barriers. The Lucy Laney Black History Museum is partnering with the local chapter of the Consolidated Chinese Benevolent Association for the virtual event. It will focus on conversations between the African American and Chinese communities here in Augusta. It starts at 6 p.m. on Zoom. And that's not the only Black History Month related event happening this weekend. Tomorrow there will be a guided tour of the Black history in Augusta. That will also be at the Lucy Craft Laney Museum from 10 to 11. And then on Saturday is a Black History Parade that will start at Dias Park Community Center at 1 o'clock. Also on Saturday is a screening of Selma, a documentary about Martin Luther King Jr. This will be at the Second Baptist Church Sanctuary in Aiken starting at 2 p.m. Well, bear problems. Police are getting hundreds of calls about a massive bear causing problems in a California neighborhood. Anthony? All right.
right, let's take a look at those temperatures. We're already into the 80s, mid-80s currently here in Augusta. We already set the record high. Talk about that weekend forecast when we come back.
A record number of Richmond County students are vanishing from the classroom.
Where's the school bus at this morning?
Not yet. Buses cannot stop at your home when you have no home. Teams on the fault line. An I-team investigation tonight on News 12 at 6 o'clock.
Time and temp.
John Boy and Associates today.
Well, take a look at this. North Alabama was underwater in some places, and even more rain is on the way. No one is heading out to this park anytime soon. Last night's storms dumped between 2 and 5 inches of rain, causing a lot of flooding. And it's not even over yet. Another round of flood watches and warnings are expected into tomorrow. So just a mess there. A lot of rain headed that way. Anthony, it's nice and warm here on this Thursday. What are we looking at tonight and for the rest of our work week?
Ashley.
The U.S. is bracing for Russian cyber attacks. The government is on high alert now that Russia has invaded Ukraine. A senior FBI cyber official is warning that businesses and local governments should prepare for possible ransomware attacks. Days earlier, multiple agencies have been warning major U.S. banks. Russia has shown an ability to cause significant disruption and damage in cyberspace in the past. The parents of an alleged high school shooter were in court for the second day. Prosecutors are trying to show that there is enough evidence to take them to trial. The two are charged with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter. Their son was arrested for allegedly shooting several people at Oxford High School at the end of November. 4 students died and 7 others were seriously injured. A church in the city of Columbia has been vandalized multiple times over the past few months. Once at the end of December and then again in January. Turns out 3 children, all under the age of 11, are responsible. This is what the damage looked like right here. Broken windows and lights and a shredded Bible. The kids were eventually turned in by relatives after they saw a security video posted online.
We only had the video up on the net for 2 days before, we were able to catch the folks that actually did all the damage and everything to the church.
Police say that they are recommending the 8, 9, and 10-year-olds involved help clean up the damage caused at the upcoming community event, and that locking them up is not the answer for kids this young. As masks start coming off, it's not fast enough for everyone. Truck drivers from all over the country say they are making their way to the nation's capital to protest the government's COVID mandates. Some of the convoy is expected to arrive in Washington by March 1st, the same day as President Biden's State of the Union speech. Hundreds of National Guard members will be on standby to prepare for those truckers.
Just trying to be informative people. It's a peaceful protest. We don't want to be harassed. We're not harassing anybody else.
And just recently, there was a 3-week protest by truckers in Canada. They were protesting vaccine mandates by blocking the busiest roads into and out of the country's capital. Dozens of people were arrested. Well, spring cleaning usually means decluttering your closets or... Well, happening tomorrow is cookies and cocktails. Girl Scouts of Historic Georgia are partnering with Edgar's Hospitality Group to create cookie-themed cocktails. It will be at the Snelling Conference Center starting at 5. There are limited tickets, so just register online. Well, check this out. A doghouse struck by a meteor sold for $44,000. At the auction, they say the flying object landed in Costa Rica in 2019 and just narrowly missed the German Shepherd living inside. The house and meteor were sold together. Objects hit by meteorites are extremely rare. I must be doing something wrong. $44,000 for a doghouse and a meteor. Wow. That is insane, Anthony.
That is incredible. I'm just glad the pup there was unharmed. Just absolutely incredible. And then, hey, you get to sell that for $44,000. How about that?
That's
not
incredible.
too bad there. All right, guys, as we go through the rest of this evening, we are going to be starting to cool things off. It was pretty warm today. Record-setting highs. We tied the all-time record high temperature for the month of February at 88. Now we are going to start to cool things down into the mid-80s and eventually into the 60s. By tomorrow morning, we'll also see a little bit more cloud cover as we head through the morning as well. Lows by tomorrow morning in Augusta right around 58 degrees. So still on the mild side to start off our Friday. As we head through portions of tomorrow afternoon, we're going to be sticking to the lower 80s, 82, about 82 degrees here in Augusta. A great condition if you're going to be going out to the playground, so some good conditions to be found there. cooler temperatures for this weekend, but it's still going to be nice, upper 60s, low 70s for Saturday, and a little bit cooler on Sunday, where we are expecting those temperatures to be into the mid-upper 60s. Now, as we head through this weekend, if you're going to be washing the car, great weather for that on Saturday. Highs there right around 69 degrees. And as we head into the next 7 days, we are going to be seeing those temperatures cooling off into the middle 60s, about 63 on Sunday, and then we finally start to warm things back up on Tuesday, 70 to 73 on Wednesday.
As Ukrainians struggle to understand their new life as Russia continues its invasion.
Come on into Davis Appliance and Furniture, where you can find the best deals in town. It's tax time, so when that refund comes in, it's the perfect time to get the furniture you've always wanted. For the brands you trust at the lowest prices, visit us at Davis Appliance and Furniture.
Do you suffer daily with pain? Your dollar value. Call Peak Performance for Men today.
Come on into Davis Appliance and Furniture, where you can find the best deals in town. It's tax time, so when that refund comes in, it's the perfect time to get the furniture you've always wanted. For the brands you trust at the lowest prices, visit us at Davis Appliance and Furniture.
From the station that's on your side, News 12, First at 4 continues. Peace on our continent has been shattered.
Capital, Kyiv. Well, much more news ahead, but we're going to send things outside to First Alert meteorologist Anthony Carpino. Anthony, are you warm out there?
Oh, it's a little toasty, Will. We had record high temperatures this afternoon, made it into the upper 80s today. 88 degrees was the official high here in Augusta. Now, we've cooled a little bit since then. Our temperatures right now sitting at 85 degrees, mostly sunny skies. The winds are light between about 5 and 10 miles per hour, and we're going to be seeing those temperatures continue to cool back down as we go through this evening, but mostly sunny, not only here in Augusta, but around the CSRA. We do have some clouds just to our north, portions of North Carolina. You guys are seeing plenty of cloud cover, and off to our west, portions of Alabama, Mississippi, and Tennessee. They're seeing mostly cloudy skies, and they've had some heavy rainfall over the last couple of days. Now, we're going to stay mostly dry for tomorrow, and as we go through this evening, also staying dry there. Here's what we can expect for those temperatures this evening. It's the low 80s by about 6 o'clock, then continue to cool things down by 10 o'clock. A little bit more cloud cover going to be a possibility there, and our temperatures holding into the mid-upper 60s by 10 before falling back to the upper 50s, as well as the low 60s for tomorrow morning. So if you have any outdoor plans, still going to be on the mild side. A great start to our Friday there. Here's our low temperatures for this evening, right around 58 degrees to start off your Friday. A little bit windier conditions into the afternoon. Temperatures slightly cooler at 82. We'll have much more on tomorrow and the weekend forecast coming up in just a few minutes. Will, back to you.
Thanks, Anthony. Take a look at this. A scary moment for a college softball team traveling through our area this morning. The bus was coming from North Carolina to Alabama. While near the Georgia state line, the bus caught on fire. Thankfully, no one was hurt. 30 minutes after the fire, they were able to get another bus to pick them up and take them home. Kia Whetstone's family is searching for answers after her mysterious death over the weekend. The 21-year-old from South Carolina was a student at the University of New Orleans. Police say that early Saturday, an Uber dropped her off at the hospital where she was pronounced dead. Uber launched an investigation into the incident, adding that it has deactivated a driver's account. Her family are just heartbroken by what has happened.
I don't want to make any accusations or assumptions. When I get the full story, then we'll proceed. I can classify it in one word, it would probably be angel. She had a way of her acceptance and finding the good in people was just beyond word.
Experts urge passengers to always follow basic safety rules before getting into any rideshare, like riding in the back seat, asking the driver who you are here for, sharing trip details with family or friends, and traveling in groups when possible. Today is day 2 for the former Kentucky officer who is facing charges for shooting into the apartment of Breonna Taylor's neighbors. Brett Hankinson fired 10 shots near a side door during the raid. None hit Taylor, but prosecutors say the bullets endangered Taylor's neighbors, a couple, and their infant child. The officer is being charged with 3 counts of endangerment. He could see a maximum of 5 years in prison. The FBI is releasing new information about the recent series of bomb threats against historically black colleges and universities. A total of 57 institutions, including schools and houses of worship, were targeted from January 5th through February 16th. The bomb threats were made in many ways over the phone, email, text messages, and anonymous online posts. Field agents are working with officials to find those involved. A bill is making its way through the Georgia Senate that would require students to participate in high school sports according to the sex that appears on their birth certificates. Those opposing the bill say this could lead to increased suicide attempts by transgender children. Supporters say it's unfair for girls to compete in those who have a genetic advantage, and this has been a discussion since over a year ago.
It's not dangerous for my daughter to be on the same sports team as her girlfriends. She's not taking the spot of another, more deserving girl, as if my daughter deserves less than. She's not a threat.
In a nearly identical bill last year never made it to the Senate floor. This year it has gained momentum with Governor Brian Kemp showing support for it. Today, Golden Harvest Food Bank is celebrating 40 years in the CSRA. Tomorrow is officially the day, but this is the event that happened earlier this morning. 4 decades and 289 million meals of distributed food later. The mission is now to end hunger. Just great work by that community resource there. Well, check it out. There is a new welcome sign at the Savannah River Remediation, the liquid waste contractor at the Savannah River site. It's a sign to honor the company's 12.5 years of service and will be a lasting legacy of their impact. The 7-foot-tall structure will stand at the corner of Whiskey Road in South Boundary Street. A case decades in the making is coming to a close, and it's all thanks to a millions of dollars worth of car. We explain next. Anthony?
All right, check out those temperatures across the country. 7 degrees in Bismarck, but we're one of the warmest in the country. 85 currently here in Augusta. We are in store for some cooler weather by the weekend. We'll talk about it coming up.
It's the Great American. That's our dedication to you.
We got a live look over Grovetown here, and Anthony, it's feeling a lot more like summer rather than spring out there. I need to be by the pool or out there putting with you on the green.
Hey, you want to grab the putter after the show? You know where to find me, Will. We got great putting weather out here. It's just gorgeous. Temperatures are in the mid-80s. Yeah, definitely feels like more like the end of spring going into the summer than the end of February for sure. Let's check out those temperatures this afternoon. We did make it to 88 degrees, and that tied the all-time record high temperature for the month of February. So definitely on the warmer side, and we're going to be talking about some warmer temperatures as we go through the next several days. Sticking to the 80s for tomorrow, but for now, we are at 85 here in Augusta. Mostly sunny skies. Winds are about 8 miles per hour, so slightly breezy, but not all that bad. Now, as we get through portions of this evening, we are going to be seeing a little bit more cloud cover. We do have a front just off to our west and some rainfall, but fortunately the rain is going to be drying out as that comes closer to our area. But as you see, portions of Arkansas, the Mississippi Valley area, they have some frozen precipitation. Luckily, I don't think we're going to have to worry about any winter weather anytime soon. So as we continue through this evening, we are going to see those temperatures falling out of the 80s and into the 70s. Very nice evening if you have any outdoor plans, and into the low 60s by tomorrow. Morning lows here in Augusta right around 58 degrees and sticking to the 60s most likely if you're inside of Bobby Jones. So going to be a mild night, a mix of clouds by tomorrow morning. Can't be ruled out, but we're going to be warming back into the 80s as we go through portions of tomorrow, right around 82 degrees as we get through tomorrow afternoon. So if you're going to be doing any outdoor plans, if you're going out to the playground with the kids, once the kids get out of school, you're going to be in great shape there. A mix of clouds into the afternoon, a little bit breezy as well. 80 by about 2 o'clock, and then between about 2 and 3, I'm expecting us to get just a little bit warmer than that 80-degree point. So expect some of those warmer temperatures again tomorrow, but back to the 60s and 70s as we head into this weekend. So if you are going to be washing the car, I'll give you the green light both tomorrow as well as on Saturday, but we will watch a chance for a few showers by Sunday. Highs on Saturday are, you can see, a little bit cooler, 69 degrees, flirting with 70 for Saturday afternoon. If we see a little bit more sunshine, maybe working our way closer to that 70-degree point. But it is going to be breezy for your Friday. Winds sustained between about 10 to 15 miles per hour, starting right around lunchtime and staying true into the afternoon as well before calming down as we head in through portions of the morning hours, then calming back down through portions of Saturday. So kind of keep that in mind, a little bit breezy throughout the day tomorrow and through even portions of Saturday, but not overly breezy for this weekend. So if you're going to be doing anything outdoors for this weekend, maybe you're heading up to the lake, you should have great conditions there. 68 degrees for the lake, and then sticking to the low to mid 60s for Sunday as well. We are going to watch the chance for a few scattered showers there. Maybe don't want to take a dip yet. It's still pretty chilly. The water temperature there at about 54 degrees. Now, I've gotten some questions today. Should I start planting anything outside? Yes, it's gorgeous today. Yes, it's going to be gorgeous for this weekend, but we are still having that potential for freezing temperatures. Not in the next 7 days, but we still have that freezing point for the first half of March. So don't plant anything just yet. I know it's very tempting to do that. Here's a look at your 7-day forecast as we go through the next couple of days. Sticking to the low 60s for Sunday for this weekend, then starting to warm things back up as we head through Tuesday and Wednesday. 73 degrees Wednesday afternoon, Will.
All right, thanks for that, Anthony. A man wanted by the FBI in the theft of a $10 million sports car in Milwaukee 21 years ago has been captured. Caroline Reinwald reports the car was smuggled to Switzerland.
The 1938 Talbot Lago Teardrop Coupe, a rare sports car valued at $10 million, is at the center of a 2001 international heist out of the Milwaukee garage.
According to the confession of one of the thieves, they did it on a Saturday night.
Court documents obtained by 12 News say recently arrested Christopher Gardner is accused of stealing the car nearly 21 years ago out of Roy Leesky's garage on Marshall Street. After Leesky's death, Joe Ford paid the estate to become a co-owner of the valuable car.
On Sunday morning, they put on white overalls and backed up a truck to the garage door to make it look like it was a legit loading. They loaded all the parts right into this box truck, and I think by 8 o'clock in the morning, they were gone.
Court records say in 2005, Gardner smuggled the car in pieces to Switzerland and had it rebuilt in France. Only 16 Talbot Lago coupes exist.
And this particular car is one of the most beautiful examples of aerodynamics made into the body of a car with a high-performance engine and chassis. So it was like a sleek race car in beautiful clothing.
10 years later, in 2015, prosecutors say Gardner sold the car to an Illinois collector for $7.6 million. The collector allegedly didn't know the car was stolen, and Leesky's family has been suing to get it back ever since.
It's comforting to see the system work. The FBI and Interpol did a phenomenal job.
As for Gardner, the FBI says he escaped house arrest in Italy last year and was then arrested in Switzerland, where he now awaits extradition to the U.S.
Guy's pretty good at getting out of pretty sticky situations there. Just a beautiful car. It's something that you'd even see out of a movie there. Pretty interesting. Just a great looking car as well. $10 million. Not cheap. Not something you want to lose either. Well, looks like they weren't the only ones who got robbed. So did some Girl Scouts. But they say that something good came out of this one. Coming up next.
Would you settle?
A near-miss crash, all caught on camera. A state trooper in Vermont was helping out a family who had crashed Saturday morning. That's when an SUV spun out of control and ran off the road. What you can't see here is the trooper who was standing right next to his car. He had to jump over the guardrail to get out of the way. Thankfully, no one was hurt, but the area still has some more winter weather on the way. Well, here's another reason to get those household chores done today. It can help lower your heart disease risk. That's according to a new study in the Journal of the American Heart Association. Mary Maloney has a closer look at why small daily movements can have a big impact.
Want to boost your heart health? Running marathons or doing intense workouts aren't the only way. Simple household chores may be all you need.
Our study shows that just about any movement counts.
Steve Newen is the lead author of a new study published in the Journal of the American Heart Association. A team of researchers at UC San Diego measured the physical activity of more than 5,000 American women between the ages of 63 and 97 and discovered doing chores like washing dishes, vacuuming, and cooking lowered their heart disease risk.
Any housework that we do, working in the kitchen, gardening, sort of all sorts of daily living activities.
This study found women who spent engaged in what they call daily life movement for at least 4 hours had a 43% lower risk of developing either cardiovascular disease or coronary heart disease, which includes heart attacks. They also had a 30% lower risk of stroke and a 62% lower risk of dying from cardiovascular disease. Researchers say the study could change how healthcare providers and caregivers discuss physical activity with patients.
Our hearts and cardiovascular systems do not particularly distinguish whether we're getting our movement through walking or running or through daily life movement.
Researchers say people of all ages could see a similar benefit.
We have no reason to think that there would not be benefit. We would just like to replicate our findings.
For today's Health Minute, I'm Mary Maloney.
Researchers say this study builds on previous research showing that light physical activity does have health benefits. A Girl Scout troop was robbed while selling cookies in Iowa. Police say that a young teenager pretended to be a customer in line while the girls sold cookies. That's when he ran off with their donation box. The donation box is like a tip jar along with money from people not necessarily buying cookies. It had around $200 in it. The girls were disappointed by what had happened, but they say they learned a sad lesson.
Learned in their business, just like in any business, there is loss and there are bad things that happen and you just got to roll with it.
And don't worry, this isn't a sad ending. The company that they were selling cookies in front of is donating $200 for their troop. And just how are you going to steal cookies from the Girl Scout troop? You can't do that. A little bit of Thin Mints, Anthony.
Alright guys, as we continue on through this evening, we're going to be cooling things down, but it's going to be still warm tomorrow, low 80s here in Augusta. One more check of that forecast when we come back.